Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our NXT review. And I gotta say, I thought this was a really strong episode of NXT tonight. It definitely had some weak moments, and I didn't like some developments we got in some of the bigger storylines, namely seeing Ciampa at the end, alluding that he's going to be Breaker's partner next week against LDF, represented by Mendoza and Wild, as well as Pete Dunne still being with the brand. I thought that, it was a nice way to send him off the crowbar, and then the funeral segment last week to be a Rumble entrant this Saturday, which isn't to say that Ciampa and Dunne won't be in the Rumble, but they're clearly, for the moment, not done with NXT, and that does kind of disappoint me. Other than that, though, I'd say a strong entry for NXT 2.0. Dusty Classic continues to be fire. GYV, God, I love them. And, I just had fun with this. Although, too little Wendy Chu for my liking. She got a very, very brief segment with Stratton tonight, who also, I'm glad, lost her match to Io, because I'd be lying if I said I didn't have fears that she was going to beat Io. Even though I still feel like Io is far above anything going on in the NXT ecosystem at present. Partner, what do you think about NXT tonight?
Yeah, I mean, pretty similar feelings across the board, I would say. It was, overall a solid NXT. Unfortunately, I will say I did unfortunately miss that main event, which sounded like it was a lot of fun. Which also then means that I missed the very, very end of NXT, which I did hear about regarding Braun and Santos and LDF and Ciampa and all that stuff. So I'm aware of that, but I didn't actually witness it with my own eyes. Um, it's one of those things where this episode wasn't bad by any means, but it just felt slow. I just wanted more from it.
That's completely understandable. Let's get into our first segment, Heat of the Night. And the thing is about this show, and I stand by what I said, I feel like this is the strongest entry for me personally NXT 2.0 has had in a minute. I had fun with it. Not without its nitpicks, though. So I guess the first nitpick I want to point out, I'm just really not a fan of Kaylee Ray. I don't like that she's going to be in this feud with Mandy Rose, although I will say the six-woman tag, I liked it because Persia pinned, she did pin Gigi. I would have preferred if she pinned JC, but I do like that they kind of spotlighted Indy and Persia as opposed to spotlighting Kaylee Ray by having her pin Mandy. I'm just not big on it. I already told you that one time we got the Persia, Indy, Wendy Chu team, I was all in. I wanted that again. I was kind of hoping that'd be like a mini faction or something in NXT, but yeah. I don't think they have any plans to follow up. So yeah, that's just one nitpick for me. I have really one big one that I'm building up to, but we probably share that one if the Discord's anything to go by. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
Well, I did kind of mention that the show felt slow tonight, so just kind of, I'm not a super big fan of a show that isn't like, oh my god, breakneck exciting, and still takes the liberty of teasing shit out, like, oh, you're gonna find out the answer to this question some other time. It's like, you are not exciting enough to afford to stretch this shit out. You need to hit us with shit now to keep our fucking viewership, and you're not doing it. So I guess you can call it a nitpick, or really just kind of a general criticism. I don't even know if it's fair to call it a nitpick, because I feel like it's significant enough that it would be more than a nitpick, but not significant enough that I hate it so much that I would call it a heat of the night. So we'll just call it a criticism. NXT is at the point that it is no longer like at liberty to stretch things out until it becomes really exciting beginning to end again. And it hasn't been that in a really long time.
I do agree with you there. That's a strong cosign. I guess another nitpick for me, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, did not like how Mello and Trick were used tonight. They are far better than being segues for a musical act.
That was going to be another one of my heats of the night, actually, was the fact that they're seriously trying to make musical acts a thing on NXT. Like, what?
Yeah, I didn't like it, man. I really didn't like it. And I'll tell you something. I don't know how you felt, because I never want to speak for you. You're more than able to speak for yourself. But I was genuinely disappointed when I realized that they were the segue, because I thought we were going to get a Mello and Trick promo. And those have really become my most anticipated
one of the highlights
NXT
of
segments.
NXT for sure.
Yeah, consistently. So when we weren't getting that, and in one way, I guess it was good in the sense that, like, Hayes is supposed to be a heel. But then again, like, fuck this crowd. Because I didn't like the musical act, but I don't think you should be disrespectful to performers live, especially when I don't think she sucked by any means. I'm just not vibing with it. If I wanted music, right, I'd watch The Voice or American Idol or something like that.
Or
I'm not
just,
really here for this.
pull up
Or listen
Spotify.
to music. Yeah, exactly, which I did today while working out. But, she's not even sucking out there. I hate this fucking crowd because I feel like they were like heckling her and booing her, at least from my vantage point.
Yeah.
So I can't even say that it's like heat for Mello and Trick because
poor Trick and Mello though, man. They were trying their asses off to get that crowd into it, and it just wasn't working.
Yeah, I mean even they have limits, right? I won't even hold it against them because who the hell could get this over? Like musical acts, it's such a hit or miss, and really I should just say miss because it's very rare I think that you get a hit. But
Yep.
yeah, I did not like that at all. So I want to volley the ball back to you. Do you have anything else you want to air out?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. This is a predictive heat of the night. I really do not want Mandy Rose versus Kaylee Ray to be a singles match at a takeover, but I'm like 99% sure we're getting it at Vengeance Day.
Yeah, you should lock that in, brother. That's 100% happening.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I know this is heat of the night, but I gotta say one positive. I don't think we got one Gacy segment.
No.
One Gacy or Harlan segment. We got a recap of Odyssey Jones, but that wasn't followed up with any kind of promo from them. So,
No.
like, 0%.
Although I will say that is a really
is
unfortunate thing coming out of tonight is that Odyssey apparently ruptured a patellar tendon, I believe I heard.
Okay, so it's not like a work thing. It was a work thing to cover up a real thing.
It seems
okay,
like
that does
I don't
suck.
know.
Yeah, that sucks. But yeah, I mean, I will say 0% Gacy. No wonder this is such a strong entry for me because I kept waiting for him and Harlan to have a segment because they've just become like that kind of prominent act for 2.0 and nothing. I know it's not going to be the same next week, but man, I really appreciated their restraint in certain acts. We didn't see any LA Knight. We saw Grayson Waller very briefly in a pre-recorded promo tonight. Surprisingly, I didn't see any follow-up for Sade. And that kind of surprised me a bit.
Yeah, that's another one of the things that they're kind of stretching out and dragging along that I was referring to earlier when I was like, guys, your product isn't exciting enough to pull this shit off anymore. You need to hit us with it now. You need to keep our eyes on the goddamn product, and this is not happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So anything else you want to talk about in this segment?
In Heat of the Night?
Yes.
I thought you were building up to your big one.
Well, I honestly, I think my big one was the whole Mello and Trick thing because I really did not like that at all. Like, that might as well be a Heat of the Night because, like, you don't have them start on the mic and then give it to something that isn't even a wrestling act. But again, I think my only other thing is
I wanted
really
your big one to go last. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing that could be bigger than that would be the whole Dunn Ciampa thing because I just don't like that they're still here. Yeah. I feel like Ciampa I could be more forgiving for if you wanted to do a trilogy. Because to me, it's like in the two singles matches, Ciampa is one, Breaker's one, so that's more forgivable. There's no reason for Pete Dunne to still be here. Like, none. Yeah. So him being here and being the reason D'Angelo lost, which, I mean, but that's also kind of a positive, right? Because this very easily could have been one of those things where it's like, oh, Trick came down because Mello gave him orders, and now it's a triple threat because he tried attacking them both and he didn't think things through. I'm glad that we got one definitive winner because I think Hayes could have shined with both these guys, but like in a singles match. I don't want any of the light like off of him. And you took the better worker, obviously, in Grimes. I think they can have a match of the year contender at Vengeance Day. Yeah. I just don't like the means that we got to it. I understand you needed to protect Tony, but to continue this fucking feud, I don't know. I really didn't care for it. But no, I just want to know from you if there's anything else.
Well, like I said, I wish you would have been able to go last with your big one, but I guess this is my big one. And really, I don't know what you call this. Really, John, I'm stalling because I don't even want to say it, but I fucking hated the Solo Sikoa Boa no DQ match.
Yeah, we're on different wavelengths there. I didn't love it by any means, but I thought it was such a short match that, like, why even be bothered? But I'm curious, like, why you hated it, to use that word, so strong. It is just not, both these guys, the characters just not vibing with you, and it's just a complete miss no matter what they do, or?
You aren't wrong about anything you just said, but I think that the biggest thing to me is that, like, why would I care about either one of them? Like, why Why are we supposed to care about this feud? Why are we supposed to care about either one of these guys as singles performers? I care more about the performer portraying Boa as a human being than I care about either one of these characters in kayfabe. I genuinely could not give less of a shit about either one of them. Is there even a babyface in this match? Is one of them? I'm assuming Solo Sikoa is supposed to be the babyface here.
That was my assumption as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Dante Chen is a more believable and likable babyface than Solo Sikoa is. Solo Sikoa is a complete nothing burger to me. This dude is going to be chasing the 24/7 title within the next 2 years, if it's still around then.
You know what's amazing to me? If they really wanted to get their value out of Sikoa quickly, and this is just me spitballing,
put him in the bloodline, right?
Well, here's the thing, dude. You could have put him in the bloodline so ingeniously because, and we're going to be previewing and predicting Rumble, guys, this Friday at 10:30. But to me, they just had the tag match, right? Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens versus Jimmy and Jay. The Usos.
God, yeah, you're right.
And it's like, oh, Seth won, so the Usos are barred from ringside. This could have been an ingenious way to get Solo, like, oh, you said the Usos. You didn't say anything about the newest Bloodline member, Solo Sikoa.
Yep.
He comes in and he helps Roman retain. It's an ingenious heel tactic. It gets Solo instant heat. He's rubbing elbows with, like, a main eventer, an uppercarter, and fucking main event Jey Uso, and, just the mid-card act together as a tag team, the Usos. And, he's rubbing with the big-time players. And you get the value out of him quickly because he is an Uso. For God's sakes, he won with a big splash tonight, which looked visually impressive. I'm not taking anything away from the dude.
I apologize for cutting you off, but I really do feel like I need to emphasize this. Calling him an Uso is doing the Usos a disservice because we've seen both Usos in singles, and they both blow him out of the fucking water.
I still would buy Jey Uso if they'd want to go back to the story of him ultimately being the one to beat Roman Reigns. The way they were building him up before Jimmy came back.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
You give me the right story and I can 150% believe either one of the Usos, the actual Usos, winning that world title off of Roman. Specifically Jey because he has the better story because he was there longer. But Solo Sikoa, again, he's just a fucking nothing burger to me. I don't understand. I think the biggest perplexing thing to me is the fucking splash finisher. I will never understand why you're bringing this dude in as a singles act, trying to get him over as his own person, and then you give him the same finisher that his brothers have had for years. I will never understand that decision. Because to me, you give him that finisher if you want him to have brand recognition, if you want people to be like, oh, that dude's an Uso. Not if you want him to be his own man and get over on his own merits. Make up your fucking mind. This is some Charlotte Flair shit. Like when they can't decide whether they want to have the Flair part be in her name or not.
Yeah, and that's kind of our point, Javaris. We get that he's literally their brother and that, obviously he's got a resemblance in a lot of ways, but like from the moment they showed the first vignette and everything, they seemed like they were positioning him as independent of all that, as blazing his own trail. But there's just so much he lifts from that, from the trail that's already been tread, from the splash to the aesthetic to everything. I would have liked a different finisher. I would have liked just really a different vibe in general in terms of ring attire and everything else. I don't know. Like, I feel like NXT wanted an Uso, but then they try and act like, oh, he's not. He's his own thing. And again, like you said, make up your mind. Not a bad match. I thought it was fine. The funny thing is, too, I'll give Bo credit, too. I like the promos in his native language with the subtitles.
Yeah.
There's something menacing about the way that he speaks. I think his delivery is strong. But I think, again, it's another thing, a lot like Karen Q when she had the gimmick, with Tian Sha, where it's like, this is the kind of gimmick that I don't really want to see extensive matches. I want to see maybe 3 moves at most, and then you win. Especially with how green he is, I think that would be to his benefit. But I thought that this was a decent outing from them. Again, nothing to write home about. I actually left to get food like towards the end of this. I did see the replay of the splash, and that was the thing that surprised me. I thought it was still going to be going by the time I got back. But the fact that it ended, it showed me that they kept it really short. So, but I understand where you're coming from, man. It's just I think they're 2 acts that NXT's trying to get over. that we just feel utterly
But
disconnected from, and it's a shame.
That's why I'm disconnected though, is because like yes, NXT is trying to get them over, but my question to that is why? What do these two particular acts have that NXT really wants to just make happen?
Yeah. I think I give an answer maybe for Boa more so than Sikoa, and that Boa really does seem to have like this mythological character, and I think they want a distinctive character, especially one that I think would appeal to the Chinese market, because the China market, whether cinema or wrestling or whatever, I think everybody's always trying to get a foothold in that, which is why Xia Li I think is going to be such a big investment on the main roster. So I could give you a confident answer seemingly about Boa. I think they want a distinctive character performer and bonus points, right? Because again, Chinese market. Sikoa, I have no idea. Again, the lazy answer would be I feel like NXT wanted their own Uso without explicitly saying Uso, even though they don't have to, because TWC will certainly fucking say it. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But you said that was your big lead up, so let us get into our NXT review.
We don't have that much to talk about.
Yeah, we really don't, because we ran through a lot of the show here. MSK versus Jacket Time open.
This was good.
MSK.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah,
I actually liked both teams in this. I'm slowly becoming a fan of Jacket Time, I will admit.
This was their best outing to me as far as like winning me over.
Which
and you know what?
Isn't surprising based on who their opponent was.
Yeah, certainly not. MSK, great team. Again, my only criticism has always been more the booking than the act itself. They talked to the trophy a little bit. They're getting hyped up. They want to do that two-peat. They want to go on that run. And what I liked about this match, too, and it really kind of clicked for me, like, wow, fucking Kushida is nowhere near as intolerable as he used to be, because he fucking ate the pin in this.
Yeah.
And it's so refreshing when you see a person that you find insufferable be in a company where they can't be that because they don't have the stroke. And it's just like, okay, now you're kind of where I've always envisioned you being, and I was right. Just not in the sense of like, oh, you're performing at that level, but like I'm tolerating you at that level the best. I figured I would tolerate you best here, and that's exactly what's happened with Kushida. This is a good back and forth. I like Jiro's crunchy in the match. That was a really cool spot. And yeah, MSK get the win because Kushida is trying for the hoverboard lock. I think on Nash Carter. Carter's able to tag in Wesley. They do their double team finish, and they get the 3 count. Crowd chanted, "This is awesome" at the end. All 4 guys hugged each other, so big respect between the tag team. Really cool. And then we get backstage. We get Io and fucking Zoe Stark. This is another nitpick I had, honestly. I didn't think of it until, now visually seeing it. I don't think we got enough narrative padding for why Io suddenly might be shifting to, like, liking Zoe. Maybe you could make the excuse that, like, she showed Io her fighting spirit, did Zoe, by, like, injuring herself trying to retain the tag titles, blowing out her fucking knee. But maybe you could have made more of a narrative moment on that. Like, maybe, like, Io's just lingering by Zoe's side, like, really checking on her while trainers are there, which I don't know if they did, and maybe I forgot that. I just don't feel like there was enough narrative padding from I don't like you to, oh, I do like you, but I'm going to pull a Tam Nakano and not admit it. Like, I feel like Tam and Arisa did this so much better.
Yes.
And it doesn't hurt that both were so likable, whereas here only one is likable, and obviously that's Io in my mind.
Yeah, I really don't like I understand the different. I feel like I need to really emphasize that I understand that characters need to progress and grow over time. But I guess in my mind, Io's character progression would have just been her finding a better partner rather than her learning to love to hate, I guess, Zoe. I don't even fucking know anymore.
I hate that I feel like sometimes I come off as a narcissist on this show because, like, it seems like I just prefer my ideas sometimes to theirs. But I did have an idea that I personally preferred where, like, Zoe just wasn't winning Io over, but Io's not a heel for this. Like, she's so respected. I think she's like Asuka, just forever over. And then Zoe turns heel, turning on Io when, I don't know, Io's in, like, a big match, or maybe they are teaming again, and Io is showing, like, you know what, Zoe, I do respect you. And then Zoe's just like, oh, well, I don't want it anymore because I realized I didn't need it. I felt like the better angle here was Zoe eventually coming back and being heel and doing maybe like even a final singles run with Io. And I say final because this would be what sends Io to the main roster. You give the heel the rub on the way out like O'Reilly did to Von Wagner. and then she goes to the main roster and she makes her fucking money, having the big matches that she should be having right fucking now. But now they're doing this thing where it's like, oh, you know, they are going to be stronger as a team when Zoe comes back because Io does like her, and I'm not here for it. I'm like, Io is so much better than this. And like, I don't want to hate on Zoe. I actually do like her in ring, which is why I wanted her as a heel, so that at least she'd get that little bit of a rub when she's healthy, and then Io can get the fuck out of here and do what she's meant to do. But it just makes me think that they're going to keep this team together. I don't know anymore. Io feels directionless to me. Like, she's consistently on the show, but she feels like she doesn't have any sense of purpose creatively. I don't know. You're a far bigger Io fan than me. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, pretty much. I really like. They're teasing Io getting a new partner, and I'm hoping that it's someone good. But actually, after tonight, I'm terrified that they're going to put her with Tiffany Stratton as like a strange bedfellows team.
Oh, God. You know, I had the same thought because, like, God, Tiffany, after losing to Io, which she does interrupt her, that's what sets up this match.
Yeah.
I go, Io, you'll have plenty of time to find a partner after I beat you tonight. The idea that they interacted this close to the fucking cup, just like, God damn it. Like, no, please, God, no. But I could just picture her being like, Daddy, I lost, and nobody's taking me seriously in NXT. I need to win the Women's Dusty Cup. Find me the perfect partner. Give me the perfect partner. And then somehow he's going to give like a shit ton of money to WWE or something because we don't have a figurehead anymore with Rico gone.
Oh,
so,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, we don't have a figurehead. Maybe they'll bring Pierce back or something. I don't know.
Oh God, like I like Pierce, but way too overexposed.
They should have Barrett announce it.
That'd be perfect.
In his bad news voice, have Io out there. She wins a match against some like low level, like barely knows how to wrestle, like jobber type. And then afterwards, before she leaves the ring, Barrett gets on the mic. Mr. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. I couldn't even finish it. It's too funny.
Yeah. God damn it.
Oh, I hate it. God. I hate it, but I just imagining Barrett. See, this is why we get in trouble, though, because we always imagine them using their characters better than they actually do. They're never going to have Barrett actually do shit like that. It's never going to happen.
No, it's not. So MSK are celebrating, and then LDF comes out, and Mendoza and Wild, I will give them credit for this, because this is character consistency. They are pissed that they lost, and then they're out of the tournament, and yet you could just see this for like the whole night that they're on. They're scowling at MSK, and it's just like, oh man, fuck, this thing's about to pop off right now. But it doesn't. We go to commercial after this. We come back, and rather than just cutting to LDF right away, we do get a pre-recorded promo from Grimes, more or less saying that he's going to be the one to challenge fucking Hayes at Vengeance Day for the North American Championship. Really fucking cool. And obviously it does come to pass, so I'm really fucking psyched for that match. And then Daddy's home. And no, we're not talking about you, Ciampa. Fuck off. Because Escobar has the mic. And I really... See, to me... How can I put this? I've even rewatched recently, like, a lot of Reign of Terror Triple H, like O2 and stuff, and they always talk about how, and especially, even though he's, you know, definitely a shitty person, Max Landis' wrestling isn't wrestling, I think had the perfect understanding of the psychology of Triple H as a very insecure guy that, like, puffs his chest out and wants to think he's the best and will do anything to be the best. Escobar, I feel like, was on a similar level there, but, like, so much better and so much more subtle to me, because he says, you know, each and every week, ever since Braun Breaker's shown his face, everyone in the back mocks him because of his father and his uncle, especially because of his family's poor math skills, so great nod there. And then when the jokes are done, everyone tells Braun how special he is and how he'll be a huge star someday. And some even have the nerve to call him a huge star right now. And then Escobar says he will not do that. He prides himself on being real from the start because that's a trait passed down to him by his father. Escobar says he and Braun come from similar upbringings. I love that he's taking it there, by the way. Which is why Braun and his family don't impress or intimidate him. He says the truth is he doesn't like Braun. Actually, he despises him. How fast he got here, how he's been given all these opportunities. But most of all, and this is the big part, that Braun won the NXT title before he did. I love that. I love that a guy that we know is as good as Escobar is shows himself to have that bit of insecurity manifesting as loathing. Yeah. Because this guy, and let's just say it as it is, and I don't mean this pejoratively because Braun's been blowing my fucking mind. This rookie
Yeah.
comes in and becomes the world champion of a place that Escobar was the fucking highlight in the black and gold era, and now transitioning here and only now here getting the main event push. But again, he's the dance partner, not the champion, and that sticks in his crawl, and I like that. I like that character beat. So before we get to Braun's interruption, I want to hand it over to you. What did you think about Escobar's promo here?
I think. Wait, I'm sorry. Escobar's partner?
Escobar's promo
Oh, his
here.
promo. I misheard you. I loved the sort of reasoning that he gave. Like you already mentioned it, how he hates that Braun got here so fast and all that stuff. The passion that he said that with really spoke to me. Like you could tell, like he really put his body into it. So yeah, just it was a great promo. I don't really know what else to say about it other than just praising it.
He's so fucking good, dude. Like you want to talk about surprise Rumble entries? If he was a surprise Rumble entry, I would pop and I'd be rooting for him so hard to win the whole fucking thing. Not even joking. Like he is so ready right fucking now to be a main event champion on any brand, really. As long as he's given the story. If he's given the story, he can take care of the rest. So then Braun does come out. He says he thinks Santos is a great superstar. I don't know why. I know he was like genuinely trying to put him over. Don't really like how he said that. Would have preferred if he said like wrestler or whatever. I don't know. Just hit me weird. But he is insecure. Flat out says it. And needs the others in Legado del Fantasma by his side. Braun admits they did grow up like each other, but his family taught him to face business head on, and Santos' family taught him to. And I love how Santos cuts him off immediately. I don't talk about something you know nothing about. And yeah, he just tells him, keep my family out of your mouth. But then I love how Braun claps back. He hushes him and says, the champ is speaking right now. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love that. I love that. I'm telling you, man, Braun hits so different as a champion. Like, if he keeps that energy when he is the top guy and he's not like doing the pandering and stuff, he's going to be so good. Because even like McIntyre, I feel like when he had his run was a great top guy. No disrespect to McIntyre at all. But like, I want one of these guys to have a bit more fire and a bit more bite to him. Doesn't always have to be pandering and, you know, the same tired hero message. Like, I love that this dude just fucking flexed. And he's like, I'm talking right now. But he didn't do it in like a Charlotte Flair entitled way to the fans. He did it to the fucking heel. Oh, God. It's so good. Braun tells Santos to issue the challenge and he'll accept. And Santos reminds him, hey, I do things on my time. So they go to leave, and then Wild and Mendoza, feeling a bit big for their britches, decide to try and assault Braun. And didn't really work out for him there. Braun lays them both out. And so, yeah, that happened. We then get Boa versus Solo Sikoa. Already talked about in Heat of the Night. No need to talk about it anymore. Then we get Duke Hudson backstage. And so we know he's going to have a match tonight, a little bit later. We get a video package from Imperium, and it was super cool because Walter was talking about how great his name is, and literally nothing else. So next we get Duke Hudson versus Guru Raj. And yeah, very quick matchup. Crowd is chanting Dookie sucks. Very disrespectful. Fuck you, CWC. He has more talent at the edge of his pinky than you do in that whole arena. He wins with the Razor's Edge power bomb for the win. What did you think about this finish? I love that he used that.
Yes,
Are you the same way?
loved it. Yes, absolutely. He did it so well too. Looked very safe. Great stuff.
He's money, man. He really is fucking money. I you know, and I'll tell you, the Grimes feud, I was already sold on the guy and I was already a fan, but the Grimes feud really solidified him for me. Because a big man that can have the power offense that he does while making it look incredibly clean, safe, and good. Yeah, just anytime you want, you can make money off that guy. So afterwards, Dante Chen comes out, man of the hour. We've mentioned him a few times tonight in the Discord and now here. I love how simple and straightforward this was. He says he'll give Hudson the respect Hudson didn't give him last week by letting him know, here I come. And he drops the mic and he makes a beeline for him. I love that. Like, I love that he didn't try to, like, be overly badass by coming up with, like, a unique phrase or whatever. He's just like, no, man. I'm going to do you differently than how you did me, and I'm letting you know it's coming right now. Perfect. Hudson takes Chen's leg out, though. I love the heat that Hudson's getting so quickly. My only nitpick is I wish we would have gotten to see Bald Hudson a bit more.
Yeah.
I feel like we only saw that one bit after the street fight with Cameron Grimes, and then they just took him off TV. It's like, no, the reason you do the shaving angle is so that you can trot him out while he's bald. That the way they did it, I'm telling you, man, the way they did it with Kurt Angle, just keeping with WWE parallels, was perfect. And I've realized that nothing since has really matched. I think, though, Molly was entertaining to her credit when they did it with Molly Holly, but both of those were far better than this. I don't care, though. Duke's a fucking prospect, and he's amazing. Another guy that if he's going to be on NXT 2.0 for the long haul, could be world champion, and I'd absolutely fucking buy it. Indy and Persia are backstage. Persia's kind of thirsting for Duke, which I'll be the first to say as a man very confident in sexuality. Do not blame her whatsoever. Indy has the audacity to tell Persia to focus. I could shake her, honestly, and I'm glad Persia kind of clapped back at her with that. Like, me focus? Okay, Mrs. Loomis, good. Don't let up. That's called continuity. We like that here. But she does say she is focused on winning the women's tag team titles. Kaylee Ray comes up to them, and with her bat, God, I hate this gimmick, and looks forward to tonight's match of Toxic Attraction. Then we get the 6-woman tag. Really nothing to say here. Persia gets the win after the TKO on Gigi. Actually, kind of a TKO Samoan driver weird move. I love it, though. I think it's a cool finish. Pins Gigi with it. So that was a cool win for her. And then we get a pre-recorded video package from Idris and Malik. This was the biggest in it. I didn't even bother mentioning this because I thought I could just mention it at this segment. Can we just, like, simmer down with how many people are, like, into Toxic? Because they made a big deal about Toxic Attraction, particularly Mandy Rose. And I'm just like, can we just kind of ease up on that? Like, she's the heel for one. I don't know why these guys are supposed to be cheering for or even going to that territory, talking about somebody I should be, like, rooting against. And it's funny, and I felt a disconnect. And I do like these guys. I just don't understand why you would try and, like, do comedy here. Like, tell your story. That's it. I don't really need anything else. So I really didn't care for this. I'm breezing through these, so I'm going to pause and ask if you have anything you want to add.
No.
Okay. We get another Dusty Classic match, GYV versus Andre Chase and Hayward. I enjoyed this, man. I got to tell you, kudos to Andre Chase. And he's really grown on me. I like the bionic elbow, little nod to Dusty. Bodie Hayward was cool, I guess. I'm more focused on Andre Chase because he has been around longer and he has the established character. I think this is one time where Foster and I are really in hard agreement. Andre Chase is good shit. We finally connected on something. Wasn't going to happen with Kona Reeves. Doesn't happen with a few people, but it really happened here, and it's beautiful. Fucking love GYV though, dude. I gotta ask you this. How did you feel about that it looked like a double code breaker to me. How did you feel about that double code breaker finish?
Truthfully, man, I missed it. I didn't catch it.
Oh, you did. See, I partially caught it, so I guess you and I are in similar boats, but yeah, I heard it described as like a double code breaker, and I gotta say, I think I prefer it to Ticket to Mayhem. Because Ticket to Mayhem is cool. I like it. It's not that I hate it, but it is like a multi-step setup. But when you got two guys coming at you at the same time, and they hit you simultaneously with that shit, that's pretty much a tag team impact finish. It's like sudden like that. And I feel like you could hit it on people of any size, whereas Ticket to Mayhem, you've got to get the guy in the pile driver position, right? So if I'm imagining Odyssey Jones was in this and fucking Gibson has to pick him up in the pile driver position, I'm not going to believe it.
Right.
In fact, I think a spot like that could be really messy. Yeah. But this, you could do it to a behemoth tag team, and I believe it. So I love this. Yeah, I fucking love this, man. Yeah. This was great shit. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm being that guy to say it again. Cool with MSK. I'm rooting for GYV to win this whole fucking thing. Them are the Creed brothers, and here's the thing. It can only be one because they're facing each other in the next round, which should be very interesting.
I want MSK to win. Or I want GYV to win, but I expect MSK to win and have a 2-peat.
Yeah, and again, I understand given the story, but they're such a credible fucking tag team. They don't need it. You could literally get a title shot. And again, this is the downside of not having a figurehead, because I have to ask, why wouldn't you just go to the GM and just ask for one? But the problem is they got me because it's like, haha, joke's on you. We don't have a GM anymore. We got rid of them. So it's like, fuck. But yeah, I love GYV. I like the Creeds too. I hate that they're facing off in the next round, but I'm going to be honest, as much as I love the Creeds, I feel like I'm bigger on GYV. It has been their time for so long. Give them something. So congratulations to Gibson and Drake for advancing to the next round. Good shit. Good shit. After that, every time. We get a pre-recorded promo from Grayson Waller. Who gives a shit? It wasn't about me. Io Shirai versus Tiffany Stratton. Yeah. Io Shirai versus Tiffany Stratton. Really nothing to say here. Io thankfully gets the win after the moonsault. Again, I was petrified that Tiffany was going to win here. Yeah, they just made the right call by not having that happen. So good job, NXT. You get a cookie. After that, we get another pre-recorded promo. I do appreciate that NXT does a lot of these because I do appreciate that a lot of acts talk. So I'm not going to bemoan that.
Yeah.
Malcolm Bivens. What a man. Says Walter is a horrible name. I mean, he really does say Gunther is a horrible name, and his parents should have named him Dumbass in all caps. Bivens goes on and says this is the end for Imperium because the Creed brothers will win the Dusty Classic, win the NXT tag titles from Marcel, Bartel, and Eichner. Roderick Strong will chop Walter down like the big tum tree that he is.
Bartel got some speaking parts in this, and that dude speaking German is fucking terrifying. Holy shit.
Dude, he did when Imperium was talking about their future ahead and everything. Yeah, man. Yeah. No, man. See, that's why I hated the fucking name change though, because like people are already in their mind. Because, dude, I swear to you, I had wrestling friends online. I'm not saying a lot of people felt this way, but I knew people in my proximity at least that already made fasci associations with Imperium, by which I mean fascist, just so that everybody's clear. Yeah. So like. You didn't need this, right? And then you have this promo, and it's like, why even to like? Because Bartel alone, I'm like, okay, that's really terrifying. And you're all talking about how the mat is sacred and everybody's beneath you. Really vibes, but in my mind, it was okay because you weren't being like so explicit about it. So I don't know. I feel like it's just a lot of unnecessary tinkering, as we already talked about extensively last week. But I did like Diamond Mine's promo here. Interesting that to me, I mean, Strong does speak in this. But you could see him in the background at times, and he really looked like kind of down on himself, in my mind, a bit unsure of himself. So that was very interesting to me. But yeah, he says nobody works harder, more or less, than Diamond Mine. And then Bivens is like, because Diamond Mine forever. Or he says, because it is Diamond Mine forever. And fuck yeah, Bivens. Fuck yeah. All right. After that, we get the whole Ali J thing. Hard skip on that. Then we get a backstage promo from Tony D'Angelo, more or less just saying he'll become #1 contender. Usual shit, just wrapped up in character speak. Then Tiffany Stratton backstage, walking on the phone, talking on the phone with her dad, complaining how unfair the referee was. Wendy Chu appears, which I was asking for all night, and I get it for like 5 seconds. And she says, "Don't feel bad. Everyone loses to Io." My girl talking facts.
Yeah, like, that was like the part there I was like, huh, so are we gonna get Io and Tiffany and the strange bedfellows team, or are we gonna get Wendy and Io because Wendy respects Io?
Wendy and Io, please. Wendy and Io, please. Wendy and Io, please. But then Tiffany, rude, slaps the drink out of Chu's hand, and Chu says, "Hey, my free refill." Those are important, goddammit. And then Tiffany's like, "Daddy, there are so many freaks here." Shut up. Fuck. So yeah. If someone were to ask me, John, was the 5 seconds of Wendy Chu worth all of Tiffany Stratton? I would say, yes. But let's not push it. Okay. So after that, we get Grimes versus D'Angelo. I missed pretty much all of this too, man, because I was actually tending to stuff myself. But I did hear as well that it was pretty good. And then again, the fucking finish, which I actually have a perfect recap here. Fucking Dunn comes out, hits fucking D'Angelo in the arm, because the whole arm thing, I guess, or skull, or whatever the fuck they're doing. He hits him in the arm with a fucking cricket bat and stares him down. Grimes hits the cave-in on D'Angelo, and he gets the win. Hate that this feud's continuing, but we already talked about it extensively in the first segment, and I'm almost done this, so let's just keep going. We go back to the parking lot. Braun Breaker's leaving. A cameraman asks him about his tag team partner for next week's match. SUV speeds up, And out comes Santos. I didn't know if they were going to abduct him and try and turn him into a luchador. If I can't beat the NXT champion, I'll convert him, and then I'll have him lay down and give up the title to me, which would be a stroke of genius, honestly. Braun squaring up and whatever. But then Ciampa suddenly shows up. And, Legado del Fantasma get back in the SUV and they retreat. So then Braun tells them 2-on-3 sounds good for next week. Ciampa and Breakker shakes hands. So I guess this is going to be a 2-on-3 handicap match when I thought originally it was going to be a standard tag match. I don't care. LDF is probably losing this. And I don't know what this means for Escobar's title shot. Like, I want him to get his one-on-one match. But now Ciampa's back, and again, to me, in singles matches, they're both tied. Ciampa, I would think, would bring that up as a character, but I can't make that assumption. So I don't know how it's going to go. All I know is that I did not miss, as Javaris, him Boomertron at all. So, yeah, that was NXT. So now we can move on to our next segment, high spots and low shots. Low shot is Tiffany Stratton. You lost to Io. You lost already in your second matchup on NXT, and your character is that you literally come from a wealthy background and you haven't even thought how to properly use it. Woman, send me a royalty check and let me help you. I outlined it all perfectly weeks ago on this show. So, yeah, Tiffany Stratton is my low shot. Who's your low shot?
I think my low shot's going to have to be Guru Raj, man, because, I was expecting him to, at the very least, be, competitive, and he got just destroyed by Duke.
Yes, he did. High spot for me, and I actually do have a healthy selection this week, GYV. Because not only did they win, I'm also giving them the high spot because as a tag team, they've refined their game even further, and I love their new double team finish. Not as much as I love Julia, mind you, but it's great. I've never even thought about a double code breaker the way that they did it. Visually, I thought it looked impeccable, and it's believable. So GYV, easiest high spot I think I've given out in a minute. I really hope they win this year. Doesn't seem likely, and I worry for their mental health when they lose because I think Gibson even said on Twitter, if he doesn't win, he's going to throw himself into the sea. So, yeah, that's understandable, though. I was going to say intense, and it is, but honestly, when you're as talented as they are and it's just not happening, understandable. So who's your high spot?
Let's see. I think my high spot is going to be Cameron Grimes for winning in the main event despite interference.
Excellent. All right, guys. With that said, this has been NXT 2.0 as well as TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my coordinating commentary. Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the videos you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon down below so you keep up with all that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box, including our Patreon. 2 things I like to plug: $1 for additional Q&A questions. Q&A is this Thursday at 7 p.m. So you've got 2 days, in fact, less than 2 days, really, if we just go exactly by time. So if you're a non-Patreon donor, you only get 3 questions. If you donate $1, you get up to 5 questions. Get your questions in now. Also donate $3 to join the TWitWoW Discord. We did Among Us games last night, and we had a nice, healthy live discussion about NXT tonight. There's a channel to talk about virtually everything in our Discord server. I think it's freaking great. It's got great people. And again, we do game nights Mondays and Fridays, which I always think are a good time. So again, $3 for Discord access. Follow us both on Twitter. I'm at John_TWitWoW. My pinned tweet is to collect Q&A questions. 2 easiest places to submit your Q&A questions are the Q&A channel in our Discord again, and just my pinned tweet. You just reply to it down below with your questions. So be sure to do that again before Thursday at 7. Ashton's pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule. To round out this week, it's actually very straightforward. Wednesday, we're going to have Stardom. We're going to be doing live reactions at 5. Because I'm definitely assuming they're going to get the rest of their latest show up, the January 23rd show. So we'll be live running that at 5. Thursday is Q&A at 7. Friday, we do games at 8 with the Discord server. So again, if you're a Discord member, join us at 8. We'll be doing games until 10. But then at 10:30, we're doing Royal Rumble preview and predictions. So we're running through the whole card. It's going to be very interesting. This is going to be a Rumble year because Ashton and I have been checked out of the product, where I'm very curious where Ashton's going to come with these matches and, of course, 2 Rumble matches. And I'm still thinking myself where I want to go with these. So you're going to want a front row seat to that because it's definitely different this year. And then Saturday, and folks, I'm not emphasizing at you. I'm emphasizing for myself, really. Saturday at 8, Royal Rumble 2022 live reactions. And then Sunday we're off because even we need a day of rest. So yeah, that's the rest of our week. It's pretty much a commentary every day until Sunday because nobody does it like TWitWoW does it, as you guys know. So thank you for listening, guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And until we meet again, tune in. Peace out.